don't think they're ready for it. I don't think they're ready. 'Cause I've been working steady for it. I've been working steady.
Hey, what's up? It's Tyler Johnston here from theAPEcoach.com. And now, in the fitness industry these days, there's so much misinformation and misleading advice put out, and just a lot of straight up nonsense. And trying to balance your fitness goals with your day-to-day life, with work and school and family and friends, it's already hard enough as it is, so you really don't need to be wasting your time and energy on these ineffective nutrition techniques that really don't do anything other than overly complicate things. When it comes down to it, in reality, nutrition for building muscle or burning fat is pretty straightforward and basic, and you really don't need to do anything overly fancy or complicated. So today I wanted to make a video and just go over the 5 stupidest nutrition myths that really just need to die already, but for whatever reason they seem to still be kind of floating around the fitness and bodybuilding industries. So going to address those today and make sure you don't fall for these nutrition myths in the future. So the first nutrition myth I wanted to go over is the idea of meal frequency. So the common belief behind this is that you're supposed to eat about 5 to 6 meals a day every 2 to 3 hours or so. And you're supposed to do this essentially to keep your body in an anabolic state to prevent muscle breakdown. And it's also believed that these smaller, more frequent meals will help to kind of rev up your metabolism and speed up fat loss. And this sounds awesome in theory, but unfortunately, when put to the test, it doesn't really pan out in reality for a couple main important reasons. Number one is, digestion and absorption is a very gradual process. So most normal sized meals are going to keep you in that anabolic state for anywhere from about 5 to 7 hours. So, you really don't need to be worrying about having a meal every 2 to 3 hours to keep anabolic. Most normal sized meals are going to keep you in that anabolic state for much longer than this. And second, in regards to speeding up fat loss with these more frequent meals, this has been a super common belief for many, many years. But when you actually look at the research, it shows no metabolic advantages for these more frequent meals. In fact, there's actually some evidence that might show a bit of the contrary, that there might be a slight benefit to less frequent meal timings in terms of fat loss. But at the end of the day, bottom line is, if you stick to your calorie and macronutrient goals and just break it up according to whatever your schedule is and your lifestyle, eat as many or as little times per day that you want, you're going to get the same end results as long as you're hitting your goals, and you'll be able to eliminate that added stress of worrying about when you have to get your next meal in and trying to get a meal in, every 2 to 3 hours. So just eat according to your schedule and hit your macros and calorie goals, and you'll be all good. All right, and moving on to nutrition myth number 2, and that is don't eat before bed, especially carbs. And now this belief is basically following the understanding that because you're not moving all night while you're sleeping, if you eat right before bed, all those carbs and extra food is just going to be stored as extra body fat. It sounds somewhat logical, but this belief really just comes from not fully understanding energy balance and how fat loss and fat storage actually occur. So fat loss and fat storage is determined by your overall net energy balance. So calories in versus calories out. And your body is always burning calories every day just to maintain life. from breathing to digestion, regulating temperature, and just any other activities you perform throughout the day. Your body's always burning calories. And so in order for fat loss to occur, you simply need to be in a calorie deficit. And so this basically means you're just eating fewer calories than you're burning each day. And when this happens, your body needs energy, so it taps into its body fat stores and burns fat for energy. So as long as that calorie deficit is in place, it really doesn't matter what time of day you're eating. Fat loss isn't, an on-off switch. Fat loss and fat gain. It's not like when one's occurring, the other one stops. Both processes always happen kind of simultaneously at the same time. And so it really doesn't matter if you're storing more or less body fat earlier in the day or later on. As long as you're hitting your calorie goals and your macro goals for the day, the net result is going to be the exact same as long as that calorie deficit is in place. So the takeaway from this, don't worry about when you're eating certain foods or how often to eat them. Just simply hit your calorie and macro goals for the day, and it's pretty much as simple as that. Now, moving on to nutrition myth number 3, and this is a pretty big one. So, nutrition myth number 3 is that you've got to eat clean 24/7 in order to build muscle or burn fat for the best results. And this is simply just not true. This myth has kind of been around as long as I can remember, and just kind of commonly accepted in the bodybuilding and fitness industry. And for whatever reason, it seems to be one of the hardest ones for people to kind of let go of or move away from. So I could talk on length about this. I could probably do an entire video on this, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to do my best to keep it brief. So essentially, as long as you're hitting your macronutrient and micronutrient and fiber goals for the day, there really are no clean or dirty foods. There's not really healthy versus junk. Your body, doesn't say this is a cheeseburger, this is bad, this is an apple, this is good. It simply consumes the food, breaks it down, digests it, and uses the macronutrients and micronutrients and fiber from these foods. So you really can't look at any one food in isolation and say that it's healthy or unhealthy, because we don't eat singular foods. We have diets, and that's how our body functions as a result of our overall diet and not on a food-to-food basis. So essentially, if you hit your macro goals and you're getting your micronutrients and fiber in, you're going to get the same end results as if you were eating 100% clean foods all the time. And you're going to be able to enjoy your diet a lot more. Having this more flexible approach makes it much more sustainable long term, and just kind of makes you less of a miserable SOB when you're hanging with your friends. And I'm not suggesting or saying that if you have 300 grams of carbs to eat for the day, that you get all of those carbs from a giant tub of ice cream, but rather you should probably focus on using sort of the 80-20 principle. Get 80% of your foods from more nutrient-dense, lean proteins, vegetables, healthy fats, and kind of minimally refined fibrous carbs. And then the last 20% you can use to kind of satisfy your sweet tooth and indulge a little bit and enjoy some of your favorite snacks, whether that's chocolate bars or pizza or some frozen yogurt. And this is going to be a lot more beneficial actually long term, because you're going to be able to maintain those results. And because I know this is going to have some of the old school kind of bro scientists up in arms, I would go as far to say that these overly restrictive kind of bro diets of chicken breast, tuna, egg whites, broccoli, and rice are more than likely less healthy and nutritious than those following a more flexible dieting approach. Healthy versus unhealthy really relates to, the nutrients that your body needs. And the more you restrict your food choices, the more you're restricting your nutrient sources. So it's actually more than likely these overly restrictive diets are less healthy in that sense, as you're less likely to be getting all the vitamins and minerals your body needs to perform properly, even though these are, clean foods. So I would say take a more flexible approach. You're going to get the same end results if you're hitting your macros and your calorie goals, as long as you're still getting enough fiber in your diet and you're having a wide variety of kind of fruits and vegetables for those micronutrients. You're going to get the same end results. I would argue even a bit better, and you're going to be able to sustain those results a lot longer. And now moving on to nutrition myth number 4. And this one is, you've got to eat big to get big. And I'm sure you've heard this one before. This is, stated by almost every bodybuilder out there. The kind of common belief is the more you eat, faster you're going to grow. And this is extremely flawed thinking. And the reason behind this is that your body can only use a very finite amount of excess calories per day for the purpose of building muscle. So by dumping all these extra calories into your body, you're not going to magically override your body's physiological functioning. You're still only going to be able to build a certain amount of muscle mass in any given time period. So by stuffing your face and eating more and more, all you're really going to be doing is increasing your rate of fat gain and making yourself soft and flabby. So the goal of building muscle is to eat just enough excess calories to allow for muscle hypertrophy or muscle growth while minimizing fat gain. And a good rule of thumb for this is to aim for anywhere from about 200 to 300 calories over your maintenance. This is generally a good enough surplus to allow for muscle growth while minimizing fat gain. And another rule of thumb is if you're gaining kind of more than half a pound per week or 3 pounds per month, you're simply eating too much and gaining weight too fast, and you'll be putting on too much extra fat. So you might want to slow things down or dial things back a little bit. Now, the 5th and final nutrition myth is eating fat makes you fat. And the belief behind this is that because dietary fats are the most readily converted into stored body fat, if you're looking to maximize fat loss, you should avoid fats. And now, this is kind of a weird myth. It's really up and down from year to year. One year fats are great, one year fats are terrible. And recently it's starting to become less mainstream and less generally accepted, which is great. But there's still a lot of people that believe this, so I wanted to clear a few things up. So eating fat does not make you fat. In fact, cutting your fats down too low will actually make you more likely to become fat. When you cut your fats too low, this has a lot of negative effects on your hormones and throws things completely out of whack. And this really can negatively impact you both physically and mentally. And you can just ask any competitor who's really dialed down to that like extreme lean level. I'm sure they can attest to this. When you cut your fats too low, your appetite will skyrocket. your stress levels get driven up, along with your feelings of anxiousness and depression. And on top of all of this, fats are actually necessary for the production of testosterone. And so dropping your fats too low will actually decrease your testosterone, especially when eating in a calorie deficit. And this leads to a decrease in lean muscle mass, a decrease in strength, a decrease in energy, and none of these things are things you want. So eating fat does not make you fat. An overconsumption of calories is what makes you fat. So as long as you're hitting your calorie goals, you're not going to get fat from eating fats. And as a general guideline, most people will perform their best and will have optimal hormone functioning, keeping their fats anywhere from about 20 to 25% of their total daily calorie intake. And so since fats contain about 9 calories per gram, you can kind of calculate how many grams of fat you can have each day by taking your total daily calorie intake, multiplying it by either 0.2 or 0.25, and then dividing by 9, and that's going to give you the amount of fats you should have each day. And that is all 5 of the stupid nutrition myths that need to die. I hope you found this video helpful and you're ready to kind of let these nutrition myths rest. And this is going to help you get better results and have less kind of stress over these ineffective kind of nutrition nonsense strategies. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, just leave them down below. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And before I go, I just wanted to let you know that I have just put together a brand new step-by-step muscle building and fat loss program called MASS3 training. And in this program, it eliminates all the nonsense. There's no gimmicks, no BS like these nutrition myths. It's straightforward, focused on the fundamentals and tried and true training and nutrition principles to get you the best results possible in the most efficient manner. In fact, it's only 2 to 3 hours of training per week, and you'll get absolutely incredible results from it. So be sure to head to the website. The link will actually be down in the description right below here. It's just theAPEcoach.com/mass3-LV1. And that is my brand new complete muscle building and fat loss program. Amazing program. So if you're looking for something that really produces results and has, kind of cuts through all the nonsense, go check it out. Thank you, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.